Yeah, man. So, Streetful Love. How did I come up with the title, Streetful Love? Okay. I have to rewind back to I had a TV show in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, called Streetful Soul, where I used to talk about different things that was going on at the time. The black community, how we need to get more involved in politics, the war, hustle, like people hustling, and just life in general, man. Some of the shit that I was going through at the time. So fast forward, I moved back to Florida, and I started working on my second album, which was something that I was trying, a whole new sound I was trying to create. Partly for my pops, because my pops wanted me to sing. Now, he wasn't necessarily feeling the rapping thing. So he wanted me to sing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of do this project for him, but I'm gonna do it for myself. Um, I started going through stuff, relationship stuff, and I started writing love songs that I never wrote before. You know, shit that I'm going through. So I'm writing these songs, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna teach myself how to make beats. The first project I had two beats on there that I made. The rest of them was from my older brother, DJ Bravo. But this was the first project where I was solely going to produce every track. It was I used a lot of keyboard, me playing, and I used samples. And it's rough. It was rough. It was rough. I'm literally learning how to make beats and write to beats on that project, and you could somewhat hear it, but it still came out dope. It was just mad raw, and it was Drake-ish. It was trap soul-ish. It had those type of elements, but more hip hop. And so I'm making these beats. I'm writing to beats for the first time. Because before that, I used to put the rhymes to beats. I pick beats and then put my rhymes to them. So this time I'm making beats and I'm writing. The album was probably 60% written before I started working on it. I added a verse, added hooks, stuff like that. So me being independent at the time, me and my brothers, I created the label Streetful Soul, which was the sound that I was trying to create. I was trying to put street and soul together. When I was coming up, if you was a singing ass nigga, R&B ass nigga, you was soft. Until like the Jodeci's came out, you know what I mean? Like when Jodeci came out, they changed the game. It was like, oh, these are like some niggas that rap, but they singing. Niggas like Case, you know what I mean? When D'Angelo first came out, you know what I mean? He looked like he spit. You know what I mean? Music Soul Child. When they first came out, they was rocking hip hop gear. You know what I mean? Braids in their hair and shit. They looked like they rhymed, but they sung. So I was influenced by them, but I was also influenced by hip hop. You know what I mean? So I wanted to combine all those sounds and create a new sound, which I call Streetful Soul, which was the record label that I put my music and my brother's music out on. It was a record label that I owned and ran. So when I did shows and performed and put out music, Streetful Soul Records was on it, on everything. You know what I mean? DNA Familiar was the group, was the crew, but Streetful Soul Records was the record label. And by then, and at that time, I was going by Hamen, which my name Hamen for short. And the nickname Ha was given to me from my brother Brooklyn. He started calling me Ha, and everybody started calling me Ha. And that's what I would tell people. Like when I would say my name is Hamen, and they couldn't say Hamen, I'd be like, just call me Ha. And a lot of people just started calling me Ha. And then I started saying it on records. I'm like, it's the Ha, it's the HA. It started out, it's the HA. And then later on, it was like the Ha. And I started going by the Ha more because my music started changing. To me, the Ha was more, he could do any type of music. Hamen was just a straight spitter, talk about life. Hob was that nigga could battle. That nigga could do like some club shit. He could do some singing type shit. He could do it all. But anyways, so Streetful Soul is the sound that I created. You know what I mean? I wanted to do records that's never been done before. Like, I really wasn't feeling traditional R&B. For me, I couldn't feel it. You know what I mean? Because it was, to me, it was catering to women. It was making it seem like women didn't have no flaws. It was all men's fault. You know what I mean? It's like men always kissing a chick's ass on these records. And then the baby making shit, I really couldn't get into, you know what I mean? Until I started, you know what I mean, doing stuff to the music. Then I was like, okay, I get it. But I didn't want to be seen as that because I wanted to be a real MC. So I couldn't be over here looking all pretty and trying to be this pretty boy. And then I want to be an MC at the same time. Like, that shit, back then, that shit wasn't flying, you know what I mean? So I was like, I want to keep it real street, but do something different. So I created a sound, you know what I mean? It was raw. What surprised me is how many dudes liked it. You know what I mean? Like, dudes was really feeling the shit. I guess they needed some theme music because niggas get hurt too, man. Like, dudes try to act like their feelings don't get hurt. Our feelings get hurt. We feel pain. We go through shit in relationships. We love. You know, we get our heart broken. This shit happens. You mean, that don't mean you're a soft-ass nigga, you know what I mean? Like, shit happens. I could punch you in your face, but I can't hurt you like another woman can with just the words that come out her mouth. I could say, fuck you, nigga, punch you in your face, and it won't do nothing as much as your girl talking about something personal about you and making you feel bad. Like, they can do something that I can't even do. So going through those type of experiences made me, you know, start writing those type of records. So me and my brother, we created a sound that was dope. And we had it rocking for a minute, man. Dropped a lot of projects, did a lot of shows, a lot of radio spins, all that. Rock stadiums, rock clubs, events, gyms, everywhere. We was everywhere. Outside, like man, we was everywhere. We did all that. Okay, fast forward. So I'm trying to come up with a title for this project, and I was going to rename it after my second project, like what I call the R&B-ish type music. I was gonna call it "Have You Ever Sparked the L Part 2" because that's what that project was called. Have you ever sparked the L? Meaning, have you ever been in love? You know what I mean? And it was a whole theme like sparking the L. Like, I had a blunt on the cover and shit. Like, I don't even smoke. But I had a blunt on the cover, and it was like a metaphor. That L was a metaphor for love. So I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about some other ideas. Like, I was going to drop a 3-piece on you. Like, I was going to do all these different things. And then, like, I started listening to the records. And I was like, I was even going to call it Streetful Soul. But I started listening to the records, and not that it wasn't soul, but the songs, the beats and the songs wasn't so much soul. They was a little bit more R&B-ish, but hip-hop R&B-ish. But it wasn't like super soul samples. So I was like, I don't want to call it Streetful Soul, because the samples, and I'm not singing real super soulful on the records. I got records that I'm singing, but I'm not singing super soulful. So I'm like, to me, that didn't fit. So I'm listening to the records, and they sound super street. Like, it sound like some super street gutter shit that I'm saying, but I'm talking about love. Like, even when on the songs where I'm talking to chicks, like talking to the chicks, whether it's good or bad, or even when I'm apologetic on some of these records, on a lot of these records. Some I said I would never be, but I'm mad apologetic on some of these records, but it's still street.